Hi guys. Well, this semester I chose to do my service learning at the Boys and Girls Club in Santa Cruz, which is really close by home. Well, I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Jovanny Chavez. I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California. I'm 21 years of age and my ethnicity is Latino. This is my first year at CSUMB, and prior to this, now the reason I picked the Boys and Girls Club in Santa Cruz was because it was close to home. It was right in the backyard of my community. And a lot of the kids that go to the club or help out, I know them or I know their brothers or sisters. So I wanted to find a way to give back to my community and to work with kids. I really wanted to know how it is to work with kids and get a little bit of experience working with kids as well. My main role at the club was to look after kids in the gym or play in the playroom. Uh, I interacted with kids by playing basketball, foosball, air hockey, any little games that are around that we can do. Mainly, I was in the gym playing basketball with the kids or breaking up fights, small things like that. I would here and there work with kids on their homework, mainly with kids that had difficulty speaking English since I'm bilingual in English and Spanish. I helped kids that didn't have a typical day at the club went pretty much like this. I would sign in and grab my ID. This would be around 12 o'clock in the afternoon. After signing in and grabbing my ID, I would meet with my supervisor and see what she needed me to do or if there were specific tasks that needed to be finished before the kids came in because I would usually go on Wednesdays, and Wednesdays the club hours went from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So at 1 the kids would arrive, so we had an hour to prep. We preparation would include tidying up the playground area, the gym, picking up the balls that were left from the day before, putting air in the basketballs, soccer balls, footballs. We also prepared snacks for the kids because most kids get out of school and they're hungry. So if they're ever hungry or anything, we have snacks prepared. After that, when the kids started showing up around 1 in the afternoon, you would welcome the kids, have them sign in and check in at the front desk as well. And then they would do their own thing around. If they wanted you to play with them, they would ask you to join their games, or we would just supervise and make sure that no fights would break out. And if fights did break out, we would make sure to find solutions to break them up. And if we couldn't do it by ourselves, we would ask people, our supervisors, to come in and intervene. And now, as I said, the site is located in Santa Cruz, California. Um, it's located at 543 Center Street, Santa Cruz, and it's right behind downtown Santa Cruz. The community around the club is pretty nice. Um, there's a Santa Cruz Auditorium. Regal Santa Cruz Cinema 9 is close by. The fire station and police station are right down the street. And probably like a 2-minute walk from the club, there's a bus station. So it's easy to reach. You could do by walking, driving, or public transportation, as I said. Mainly, I would drive to the location from my house, which would be about a 10-minute drive without no traffic. But overall, the community all around is nice. Kids don't have to worry about much. There's crosswalks, and the streets are pretty clean. There's even a daycare right in front of the club. There's enough parking. It's a really nice neighborhood, and I feel like it's a safe zone for the club. Most of the kids that go to the club range from a wide variety of ethnic groups, with both boys and girls. They're usually between the age of 7 and 14. We do have teens that come here and there, but not as much as the younger age groups. And most of the club staff are people who either went to the club while growing up or are people that want to give back to the community by helping these kids out. Um, a lot of people there that I met told me that while growing up, they went to the club and they really got a good experience from it. And when they grew up, they wanted to give back to it, so they would volunteer, and really enjoyed the job they did there. So they made it a career pretty much to work with these kids and be there for them. From my experience and working there, I saw that there are extreme numbers of kids that come in every day to the club. And I did a little bit of research and I found out that in 2013, the club served approximate amount of 1,351 members. They averaged 147 kids a day during the school year and about 206 during the summer. 62% were boys and 38% of the members are girls. So there's a vast majority of the kids that attend the club. They need the club to be in order to grow up. They need somebody to look after them when their parents can't. It helps. This club helps out the parents who are out working and their kids need somebody to watch their kids. These kids get to grow up with other kids around the community, not just from their schools, but from other schools around Santa Cruz. And they get to meet other kids. And I guess it's a great opportunity for them to grow up meeting other people, other kids from the schools. It's a great way for them to grow up. From what I've seen and learned, the club really does give back to the community. And I also learned that their main mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need it the most, to reach their full potential as responsible, caring, and productive citizens. They want these kids to grow up with good morals, and from what I've seen at the club, they really do a good job at it. They teach these kids to be polite, to be respectful, and they approach these kids with really good ways of teaching. And from the kids that I've seen, a lot of them do learn and do listen. Yes, there's those that don't listen and are really troublemakers, but the majority of them really do understand and obey and are growing into young adults. The club also does programs and events like basketball league, more art, and teen implement kindness plan. The basketball league allows kids the opportunity to play basketball and interact with kids, keep them out of the street. Basketball league pretty primarily is built for in order to let kids and give them the ability to learn and play basketball within the community in a nice, safe place. Um, the league, from what I've seen, gets a lot of players, and it fills up pretty quick. So, from what I learned from the kids, it's a really fun activity, and the league is really well built. Now, More Art is an art program that allows the club to bring in diverse artists, music, dance, and storytelling, visual arts, and more into the club to show the kids and teach them art. It doesn't really mainly have to be art, it can be music, dance. People come in to do storytelling, do visual arts, and it's just an activity for the kids to experience different things. Now, the Teens Implement Kindness Plan was built in order to try to implement kindness throughout the community, while at the same time simultaneously raising money for a trip to Disneyland. So what pretty much happens is when somebody donates $10 to the Indiegogo.com crowdfunding campaign, the teens will do an act of kindness. This can include from baking cookies and delivering them to Santa Cruz Heroes. This way, the teens are able to give back to the community by showing kindness. And it's also created to help disadvantaged teens make their dreams come true. So the trip is designed to help kids who don't have money or parents don't have money for them for the kids in order to go to Disneyland. So this money will help the kids have a trip for Christmas or and let them have the opportunity to go to Disneyland. I find it I believe it's a good way for the kids to help out the community and really do something. Now, now from what I've seen, the challenges that the club faces is pretty much money. The club is a nonprofit organization, and the way the club gets money is from donations from the community. Um, and in order for the club to keep running, it needs more donations, and this would help the club get better equipment for the kids, more such as pencils, learning books, basketballs for the gym, anything, any little thing can help out these kids. So donations are really required in order for this organization to continue. Also, what I noticed from there was that there are not enough volunteers for all these kids. I remember once I went in and there was about 120 kids there, and there was only two volunteers and three staff members. It's really hard to deal with that many kids with only five people working, and, and to think that after a certain time, the volunteers have to leave. So it reduces the amount of five people to three, and I can't believe I don't know how these staff members can handle all these kids at once. So volunteers are welcome. They're always needed, and they'll gladly accept anybody who wants. One volunteer that I met was named Juan Mendoza. I asked him if I could give him if he could do a quick interview with me, and I found that he he got involved in around in 2012. He's 25, and it's his second year of volunteering. Um, he first got into it because it was a class assignment, just like mine. But he fell in love with the club and the kids, and he just kept coming back and back. And now he thinks he might actually think of working with kids in the future. And currently, he's thinking about studying to become a teacher now. He keeps on. He usually goes 2 to 3 days per week to the gym, 1 to 2 hours. But from what he says, 1 to 2 hours can help a lot, and you can get really involved in these kids' lives and help them out. Another person Gladys Monroy. She's one of the members at the club. I decided to interview one of the members because I wanted to get um, aside from their story. And from what I got from her is that she goes to the teen center about 3 times a week. She enjoys going to the club and helping out the staff with the younger kids when needed. She's 15 years old and she goes to the teen program. But when she's able to, she helps out the younger kids with their homework. And to her, the club is like a second home because when she was younger, she spent most of the time after school at the club throughout the whole week because her parents had to work. And they helped her out with her homework, and she says that she really got the help that she needed some on homework or anything else, or if she needed somebody to talk to. And she also believes that because of the club, she stayed out of trouble. Well, I really enjoyed working at the club. I learned how it feels to work with kids, something that I've never done before. I learned how to interact with kids. I know how to break out fights with them, how to handle situations that arose. At first, I didn't know how to, but after talking to staff members, I figured out how, and also found a way to help out my community. And I plan to go in the future to volunteer and to hang out with the kids some more. Um, I also plan to find other ways to help with my community because I realize that there's a lot that we can do out there, and there's always ways for us to give back. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my slideshow, and thank you for taking time to look at it. Thanks.